Best Team for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet will be out Sunday, December 11th at 10 a.m. Eastern/7 a.m. Pacific, so make sure you all save the date. You're not going to want to miss this. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has definitely been one of my most favorite Pokemon experiences ever. A good reason for that is definitely the Pokemon for sure. But with the characters in this game, I feel like you really do learn more about them and find out they have really unique personalities. I would even say some characters are probably my favorite in the entire series. They make you feel like you know them on a personal basis. It's probably the best way I can describe it. With these new characters though, I thought it'd be fun to rank all of them from worst to best. Also note, I do not dislike any of these characters at all. If the character is considered worst, it just means it's the first on the list and nothing more. Before we start though, you guys should head over to Mystic Umbreon Shorts, where we'll be having daily Scarlet and Violet content coming out, as well as daily Pokemon facts. After the best team goes up, I will actually be starting a brand new Scarlet and Violet series exclusively over there on Mystic Umbreon Shorts that I think the majority of you guys will like. Also, if you like anime and fanfics, head over to Mystic Reads, where I'm currently reading Road to be a Pokemon Master Kanto Edition, an adventure with Ash and Serena going through Kanto together. If you like anime, I'm reading through the Yaju Sunny, a Naruto fanfic. I will leave the links for both these channels in the description below and the iCard above. But anywho though, let's get right into these rankings. Also, spoiler warning, stuff from the main story will be in here. I'm just gonna leave this short and not even put the protagonists on the main list to not get in the way of other characters. I'll just say this. The protagonists this gen have a neat design concept to them, and I think Pokemon should keep this character customization going. With that, the designs are actually pretty good. Now, let's get into the proper rankings. I don't really have a lot to say about Katie. She's actually the gym leader that sticks out the least for me, but that isn't a bad thing. I do like that she's a bug leader. We haven't had one of those in a while. She's apparently a really talented baker though. I take back what I said, and I don't mean to put her at the first spot on the list. Maybe I should move her down to get some cookies. Out of all the teachers, Mr. Saguaro is actually the one I know the least about. But at least he has a good design to him, and he helped our friend Arvin make his delicious sandwiches. He does teach about certain items though, and this definitely can be helpful for new players. Mr. Salvatore is one of the nicest teachers at the Academy. I love his positive outlook, and I actually learned a few new things when going over his class, like how to say I love you, for example, in different languages. His Pikachu was absolutely adorable as well. I guessed wrong a bunch of times though when it was doing its little reactions. Mr. Jock was actually a Pokemon researcher before he became a teacher at the Academy. Not to mention he also updated the Pokedex app. Gotta say, I love the teachers at Yuva Academy, and Mr. Jock is no different. Mr. Jock teaches Pokemon biology, and I think it's really neat that Game Freak decided to show the research side through him. He seems like a very happy-go-lucky guy. He also seems to be pretty knowledgeable when it comes to Pokemon breeding and evolutions. I wonder if he knows Professor Elm. I remember when Geeta first showed up in this story, and she looked like a pretty important person. Nimona refers to her as La Primera, which means pretty much number one. She's the champion of Paldea and the chairwoman of the Pokemon League. She seems like she takes her job pretty seriously, and her outfit definitely matches that. Definitely not my favorite champion in the series, but I don't really have a lot to say about her. I will say her Glamora was pretty cool to face, and she even went to Area 0, so she's a pretty badass trainer. Brassius is actually a pretty underrated gym leader in my opinion. Not for his team, but for his artwork and talent. We know he's a pretty well-known artist, but during one of Hassel's art lectures, he mentions he was at a really low point in his life, and Hassel helped him out of his rut. During his rut, he created the Surrendering Sunflora, which is a pretty famous statue across Artizone. I love that the gym leaders in this game have a cool little background to them and even showcase their talents. I really like Grusha's overall design, and a very specific Pokemon he uses. Icetera Altaria is really pretty to look at. Grusha also used to be a professional snowboarder, and was deemed as number 2 in the entire world. It's cool to see real sports and professional athletes in the Pokemon world. Kofu was the first gym leader I fought in Scarlet and Violet, and not gonna lie, I love the fact that he's a cook. I thought it was pretty fun running the little errand for him and giving him his wallet so he could go buy some special seaweed over in Port Marinata. Fun gym leader and cool team too. Damn, I wish I had a cool math teacher like Miss Time. See, I was very bad at math, and Miss Time seems like she's a very patient and kind professor towards her students. She makes math fun, and I wish I could have had her instead of all the boring math teachers I had in high school. I would actually pay attention to her class rather than sleep. Miss Ryfort teaches the most interesting class at UVA, because we get to learn a little about the lore of the games. For example, we learn about the research team at the Paldean crater, the academy was created 805 years ago, and that Paldea apparently had a very interesting king, I should say. She's pretty awesome. Miss Dendra is definitely my favorite teacher at UVA Academy. The Battle Tactics class was actually a very solid idea on Game Freak's part because it teaches some stuff the average Pokemon player doesn't know. She's also just a very positive and ambitious person. You can see her training people in Alfornada as well as a personal trainer / coach. Speaking of Alfornada, she has a pretty close relationship with its gym leader Tulip. They've known each other for a pretty long time. I love the connections that are made with the people in these games. Up next, we have Hassel, and I gotta say, I love the guy. He is literally the perfect definition of an art teacher, and I have to say, I was pretty surprised when I found out this dude was a Dragon-type trainer and a member of the Elite Four. He and Brassias, the Artisan gym leader, actually have a personal history together as well. We learn in Hassel's class that Hassel actually helped Brassias in his time of need. Pretty cool stuff. I love the fact that we got a rapper as a gym leader. Rap is one of my favorite genres of music, and the fact Rhyme is basically a battle rapper is pretty sick. I wouldn't want to cross her on stage. And she has a pretty dope ghost team to boot too. Ortega is definitely one of the more interesting members of Team Star. One, because he is the costume creator for the team, and two, he comes from a pretty well-off family. But regardless of that, he's actually not a snob. His butler actually seems pretty cool too. Aries' design is really cool. I like the face paint she has on, and she also has an Annihilape. Annihilape is one of the coolest Pokemon we've seen in a long time. Other than that, I don't really have a lot to say about her, but I definitely am curious to see what she looks like behind the face paint. The Pokemon professors of this game honestly blow my mind. If you've played the finale of either games, you will know exactly what I mean. I can't believe they actually passed away and were AIs. I also love the backstory between each game's respective box art, legendary, and professors. They really seem like special people, and I feel bad for Arvin. Plus, the whole aspect of just studying the Paldean crater blows my mind. I'm jealous because they got to listen to Area Zero's theme like on a 24-hour basis. All in all though, I would rank these two professors pretty highly in my professors ranking list. Rika is awesome. I love her laid-back personality and the way she refers to the player as kiddo. When she makes her appearance, you can just tell that she's part of the Elite Four. She stuck out pretty openly to me actually. She's also confident, and that really made me look forward to battling her in the Elite Four. The interview process with her was also cool. Hello, Clive. I mean, Director Clavel. I really liked the disguise he took when investigating Team Star, and the fact he was so involved in finding out why Team Star was formed in the first place. He actually does care for the students of the Academy, and it makes me respect him a whole lot more. Fun fact, he was also a Pokemon researcher before he got to UVA Academy. He in fact actually researched at the same facility as Mr. Jock. You know, Team Star is actually a very wholesome group of individuals, and you can see a few kids in the Academy that actually look up to them. This can be seen mainly in Atticus's post-battle scene. They're actually heroes to a lot of these kids, and one kid came up to Atticus and wanted him to come back to school so he wouldn't get expelled. Atticus and the rest of the team are honestly great characters. I really enjoyed their stories. Oh, and Atticus's poison types are pretty cool, and the way he talks is funny. Not in a bad way. The most normal looking gym leader is also one of my favorites, being Larry. He's just an average working class man, runs a gym, and is even a member of the Elite Four. For such a plain guy, he's pretty freaking talented. His Staraptor really brought the heat in my first battle with him too. That thing is scary. You know, I actually nearly forgot about Nurse Miriam. At this point in time, everything else is recorded but this line. But hey, you know what? At least I saved myself from the hundreds of comments and memes about me forgetting Miriam. Anywho, she's a pretty wholesome character. We find out through bonds that she wanted to be a health teacher instead of a nurse, and that she also failed the certification test. She does eventually, though, get enough encouragement through the player character's actions and finally gets her cert test aced. Unfortunately, though, at this time, there are no health classes at UVA Academy. There better be health class DLC, or I'm gonna be upset. You know, of all the rivals, Nimona is actually one of my favorites in the series. We find out at the beginning of the game she is a champion level trainer, meaning she has cleared the Paldean League even before the player starts their journey. Throughout the story, we learn she just wants a strong rival, and she loves to battle a lot. At the same time though, she also has a good heart and will do anything for her friends. She has a decent personality, and she feels better than the other neighbor. Okay neighbor, I'm ready to battle. You gotta love those X and Y rivals. Also, the fact that Nimona is actually not a spoiled rich kid because of who her family is actually very awesome to see. She doesn't even let her wealth get in the way of her personality. You love to see it. The Elite Four this generation is incredibly awesome. And what's even more awesome is we have a little kid as one of the top trainers of the region, being Poppy. Being so young and a member of the Elite Four means she holds a lot of promise, especially with her being a steel type trainer. Her mannerisms are adorable, and she's probably my favorite of the Elite Four. Giacomo has a really solid character design. I love the DJ aesthetic he sports, and he also had probably my favorite Starmobile. He's actually the one who created the code of conduct for Team Star as well. It's really funny though, because he used to be student council president, and had a pretty strict code of conduct before. For example, like not having hair go above a certain length for male students. I like the new Giacomo more. Out of all the members of Team Star, Mela is definitely my favorite. Initially, I thought the fire type trainer of the game was going to be some kind of fire type dancing gym leader, but we actually got a rocker instead. I'm actually fine with this because I really like her design. She also puts on a tough act, but she actually really cares for her friends. And that scene with the Charcadet was actually pretty wholesome at the end of her cutscene. Cassiopeia, or Penny, is definitely in my top 4 favorite characters for these games. I say that because she reminds me of myself when I was in junior high. I was a weeb and also binged a crap ton of anime. She's also primarily a shut-in and is deemed to be a master hacker. Kinda reminds me of Futaba from Persona 5. Penny, however, is the leader of Team Star. Throughout the story, we learn more about her and why Team Star was formed in the first place. No one knew Penny was actually the main boss of Team Star for the longest time, but you could figure it out the more times she appeared and rewarded the player with league points. Everyone on Team Star was bullied, and the team was created as a way to get back at the bullies, but unfortunately, it backfired. All the members of Team Star stuck by the rules the team had created for the longest time, and one of the main rules was that no one could boss each other around. However, there was a loophole. Each leader had to be defeated. She assigns this task to the player, and once the deed is done, we find out she is the leader as mentioned earlier. She really does care about Team Star though, and does this for their own good. Her team also consists of evolutions, which I can't deny also helps her case by placing her pretty highly on this list. At the number 3 entry, we got Tulip. Not only does she have a wholesome relationship with Miss Dendra, but she's also got billboards all across Paldea and a pretty sweet looking psychic team. Also, purple is my favorite color, and the fact her and Iono work together is pretty wholesome. I wonder if she knows Diantha, considering they're kind of in a similar industry? Diantha is pretty world famous, so it wouldn't surprise me if they did know each other at least on some degree. This is a character that really changed on me the more Titan battles I did. At the beginning, he just seemed like a brat with a crappy attitude. Over time though, you learn about his secret. His Mabosstiff got injured at Area 0, and he does everything in his power for his buddy. The more Herba Mystica it was fed, the better Mabosstiff got. We learn more about him as a character the more the story goes on, and even learn his parent, whichever respective game you're playing, haven't talked in 10 years physically. Arven is not only one of my favorite characters in Scarlet and Violet, but also one of my favorite characters in the entire franchise. I love his character and his entire personality. It actually feels like you have a personal relationship with him. If I were a Pokemon trainer, I would definitely want to be his friend. When him and the Mabosstiff had their moment, I'm not gonna lie, I nearly cried. I was super happy for Arven. These games really gave us some awesome characters, and Arven is definitely one of the top ones for sure. And my favorite character in Scarlet and Violet, I think it's pretty obvious, is Iono, the electric gym leader of Lavincia City. She's a streamer, she has a cute design, and her city theme bops. I love the entire time when you battle her, she's just talking about her views going up and whatnot. I totally can't relate to that as a YouTuber. Her personality is also just really funny and hilarious. Iono is my new favorite character in the entire Pokemon franchise. I can't wait to see what she's like in the new Pokemon anime. Well, those were all the characters in Scarlet and Violet ranked worst to best. What'd you guys think of this ranking? And who were your favorite characters in Scarlet and Violet? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to be on the lookout for more Scarlet and Violet content coming out very, very soon. Thanks for watching the video and for coming through and enjoying Scarlet and Violet with me. We've got so much content coming surrounding Gen 9 through the end of the year and beyond, including the top 10 strongest Pokemon, the best team for the games, and much more. If you're interested in more Mystic content, check out my TikTok and Mystic Umbreon Shorts YouTube channel. When we get to 5,000 subs on the channel, we're gonna have a new series related to Scarlet and Violet that will be exclusive to there, so go subscribe. Also, if you're into fanfictions or Genshin Impact, check out Mystic Reads and Tevotchinary. I offer a ton of creative spoken word content over there, and I do a bunch of theories and lore videos surrounding Genshin Impact. So come join me over there at that floats your boat. That's all for now. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time for more Scarlet and Violet content.